Me. All right. What is good, everybody? Welcome to the Omnist podcast. This is episode 76. Make sure that you click that like button if you're watching me on YouTube. And if you're a first time listener on Spotify or Apple Music or Apple Podcasts, make sure that you follow me, turn on your notifications for the next time that you see my content, stuff like that. And at the very end of this podcast episode, make sure that you answer the poll, what you like best in this podcast and what was something that stuck out to you the most. Anywho, shout out to everybody who are watching me from Instagram. You are much appreciated. People who be listening to me and shouting out my content, sharing my content, reposting it, all that other good stuff. So we're going to get into the topic of basically BBLs, cosmetic surgery. We're going to be talking about the temple and the temple of God and protecting your vessel and your body and how important your body is. We're going to be talking about controversial subjects concerning like the zodiacs and the horoscopes. We're going to be talking about Gnosticism, the concept of the creator and the illusion and the matrix. We're going to be talking about basically don't be diabolic. Okay, for that in specific, we're going to be talking about, we're going to be talking about that. That's for one of my friends. Well, we're going to get into that in a second. We're going to be talking about the age of pleasure because, as we know, Miss Janelle Monáe just came out with her album, beautiful album. I highly recommend it. I give it like a 9 out of 10. I haven't finished the album all the way through. I probably have 3 more songs to go, but every song on there is a banger. Every song on there is a banger. Okay. And she really is representing that divine, wild, feminine energy. So highly recommend it. It's all about love. It's all about, self-love, self-improvement, being free with yourself, being true to yourself. We're going to also be talking about that as well, about living out your truth in this world, and finding that balance in, the physical world, right? Because some people can't decipher between whether they should be more into the world or rather they feel guilty because they're spiritual, but they also like worldly things, and, it's always important that you be within the world and not of the world. Okay. So don't get so caught up in things that are worldly. Don't get caught up in trends. Don't get caught up in what everybody is saying. It's always important that you always keep your mind on a level-headed. Keep your mind level-headed so that you won't be following the flock, following the crowd. Always be an observer in the ballroom. So, without further ado, let's get into the DC Young Fly. So basically, I don't know too much about the situation, which is why, at first I didn't know too much about the situation, which is why I didn't speak on it to begin with. But basically, DC Young Fly's fiancé passed, and I think they had 3 kids together, 2 to 3 kids. And basically, she wanted to get surgery. I believe it was on her chest. Y'all can fact check me if I'm wrong. But I think she wanted to get some implants or some surgery done to her body. I don't know if it was her chest or if it was her booty. But her last YouTube video, if I'm not mistaken, one of her last YouTube videos was her making fun of people, warning her about getting the BBL. And I don't know if y'all seen the video. I'm gonna have it in the podcast video when I post it on YouTube. But she was making fun of people on YouTube. She was over here talking about how people were telling her in her comments your body is beautiful, your body is fine, you don't need to really do all this to your body. Why are you even trying to do this to begin with? The harms and the effects and the fatalities of getting this body done. She over here talking about it's my body, my choice. I don't mean to laugh, but she was over here talking about it's my body, my choice. I do whatever I want with my body, and you can't tell me otherwise. Now, do you know how much, beneficial it would be if she actually would have listened? She would be alive. She would be alive, and those were, and sometimes when it comes to like messages, some people, and mind you, she was a Christian. She was a faithful, heartfelt Christian, a believer in Jesus. You know, as much as a personal relationship you have with Jesus, I'm surprised he didn't tell you nothing. He didn't come to you in your dreams or anything like that. He just let it happen. That's crazy. God could stop Abraham from killing his son, even though God told Abraham to kill his son for. Anyways, that's a weird story. But he couldn't stop you from causing self-harm to yourself to the point of you know, now no longer being on the earth. And if you're such a faithful, heartfelt Christian, isn't your body the temple of God? If you believe so much in God and Jesus is the personal savior of your life, why would God approve of you adding on or taking away from your body that he formatted you in, that he put you in, that he created you in? That, to me, that will go against his word. Because if he made you in his image and his likeness, then you changing up your body, you getting surgery on your body, means that whatever God gave you and however God made you to be just wasn't good enough for you. That's how I take that. So, I mean, like, no disrespect to DC Young Fly, his family, and the children, and all those type of stuff, but you just got to look at the facts here. Like, she was a heartfelt, faithful Christian who had a personal relationship with Jesus, and yet she couldn't even have the spiritual knowledge or the spiritual like advice. She couldn't even take that type of spiritual advice, or she didn't have the. Evidently, Jesus and her were miscommunicating during that time, but she didn't have the intuition to know, like, I shouldn't go into this surgery. You know, like, she didn't have the intuition to know, maybe I shouldn't do this. You know, if she so-called did her research, you know, if she knows that the surgery would have been good for her body based upon her medical background or not good for her, she should have knew these things. Whether she knew it or not, I don't really know. She probably told the doctors that she did know and probably lied, and that's, you know, you see what happened. Yeah, Jesus and her were miscommunicating. Something was going down. I don't know what it was. Somebody said facts literally goes against what they believe in from their own book. They're basically just tampering with the... Whoa, somebody calling me? Can I take a pause for a second? Does anybody know why when you put your phone or your laptop on Do Not Disturb, FaceTime and messages could still come in? Like, am I doing this wrong? Is do I have to go in like the Do Not Disturb settings and like put some other stuff in there? Like that's, could somebody help me out with that? Let me wave at some of the people why this is happening. I can't stand when I put my phone on Do Not Disturb and then phone calls can still come in. Like, that's not the point. Like, is my Do Not Disturb broken or something? I just need to know. That's weird. So it's not just me, cause like that be happening like cause I have my Do Not Disturb scheduled for like 4 to 5 days out of the week to be on Do Not Disturb when I do my editing and all that type of stuff. But then on some of the days when I don't have it, then I put the Do Not Disturb for whatever I'm doing at the time, and then messages and calls still be coming in, and I'm like, what? Like certain iPhones be tweaking. I don't get it. I don't understand it. And this is a new MacBook too. Like, this is a brand new MacBook. Right, Do Not Disturb when a call happens. Like, that don't make sense, because its own Do Not Disturb only works when your device is locked, I believe. Well, I mean, my phone is on do not disturb, so like I didn't get the FaceTime call. Like it didn't mess up my live stream. Oh, that's ridiculous. Um. Anyways, yeah, that's crazy. Um. But yeah, going back to the topic, like that's, you would think with the communication or the relation or the connection that you have with God that you would know not to do those type of things. And it it makes me laugh when I see some of these women get BBLs and breast implants and all those type of stuff, and like two reactions happen, right? Either they get the cosmetic surgery, the BBLs, and then their body looks somewhat right, somewhat natural. They over here thanking God for how good their body looks, all this nonsense, and then some things will go wrong. I don't know if you ever seen some of these videos of like girls having a deflated booty. They have a deflated booty, or some of the fluids from the plastic surgery is leaking, so now they gotta rush back to the doctor, and now they in the hospital for days, weeks even. They over here having like body problems and all this, the body acting up. They over here in the hospital. Why God? Why God? God ain't got nothing to do with this. That is all on you, man. That is all on you. Don't blame God. Don't even blame the devil. The devil ain't got nothing to do with this. And we repping Baphomet, okay? And Baphomet and the devil aren't the same person, but some people think Baphomet is the devil, so I just want to let y'all know we repping Baphomet over here, okay? Hell Baphomet. But it's ridiculous. Like, there has to be a certain set of like self-hatred and insecurities for you to go out there and change up your body. How is BBLs even legal? That's a good question. I don't even know how BBLs are legal, but they're going to capitalize on whatever people do. You might ask, how is it legal for men to cut off their genitals, their hoo-has, or their wangers into hoo-has, turning their wangers into hoo-has? You might ask, like, how is that legal? How is it legal for a woman to now say that she wants to identify as the opposite sex? This is what we call living in a westernized, Eurocentric society. The caucasity is indeed real. Hella wild. Hella wild. It's beyond me. Like, I don't understand how it's legal and how people are trying to make it sane for people to apply to pronouns. And I'm gonna end it there before Instagram might think I'm having hate speech. But it's very, very interesting how they're trying to make people like the switcheroonies seem like they are sane. Is completely beyond me. I don't understand it. And I'm in the wrong, because I think it's weird for a man to want to be the opposite sex. How, Sway? How can you accuse me of some form of hate or phobia because I like natural biological women? That don't make sense to me. That ain't something clicking. I'm in the wrong. I'm the one crazy. Because I won't identify a biological woman as my brother. Okay. Yeah, something in the water. Anyways, there is a vein in the butt that is linked to the heart. Oh, damn. Okay, so that's how, like, some people, they be having them fatalities. I wonder how many people have died from BBLs. How many people died from BBLs? Let's see, 2022. Well, okay, it ain't really that high in numbers, but there is a great risk from what I'm seeing. Like 60-70% risk or something like that. It's not that many numbers, because I'm assuming like it ain't like a trend. I mean, we see it as a trend because we see it on social media, but it ain't like a trend. Like, you know, like I don't know a girl who personally have like cosmetic surgery, or like BBLs, you know. So I guess it's not like common, but like we hear about it, if that makes sense. Yeah, I saw that. It's the most lethal surgery. Yeah. Blessings. What's good? Yeah. But there have to be like a level of insecurity and self-hate for a woman to go out here and change up their body. You know, or like to have their nose played with, you know. I remember I was hearing a woman a couple of years back talking about she wants her face to be symmetrical. What if your face wasn't meant to be symmetrical? Mind you, this woman is a child of God, right? She wants to get surgery done to her face to make it symmetrical. This is a woman who goes to church. African woman goes to church. And I sit there, I'm just like, well, do you think that if God gave you you know, the face that he gave you, like if he wanted you to have a symmetrical face, he would have gave you a symmetrical face. But if he didn't give you a symmetrical face, then maybe you should be proud of what God gave you. Maybe with your face, the one that is right for you or the people who are in your circle may appreciate you more. You know, we have attributes and things about us that we may not personally like, but other people may see light in. You know, other people may appreciate. So, you know, that's ridiculous. They lie about their weight loss. They be doing that. I be seeing some people, they be lying about their weight loss when they be getting them surgeries. They ain't the third leading cause in the USA. That's crazy. Oh, I wanted to talk about this as I'm talking about like the BBLs and stuff. So one of my uncles, not gonna say his name, but if any of my family come across this, they know who I'm talking about. One of my uncles married a woman, all right, and she was my auntie at the time for a good 7 years, 7 or 8 years. They were married for a good seven years maybe. Anyways, they were married for a good bit, and she was a big chunky woman, you know. But you know, she was, you know, for her body and for who she was a beautiful dark-skinned black woman. But she wanted to have surgery done. She wanted to have a tummy tuck. Now, it would actually cost less and do more for you to actually get a gym membership, or maybe go for a run, or maybe stop eating so goddamn much. You know, maybe something like that. Maybe cut out the sweets, maybe go on a calorie deficit, maybe have a diet plan, maybe go to the gym, go to the park and go for a run. Maybe invest in a treadmill in your house, a bicycle, a personal trainer. Mind you, again, a faithful Christian. This is very ironic. All these Christian women wanting to get their body done. She wanted to get a tummy tuck. She got the tummy tuck, and for the last probably like 3 years, For the next 3 years after she got her tummy tuck, she was in and out of the hospital. She was in and out of the hospital. Everything from her stomach was leaking because there was a hole. Because, you know, when you get the tummy tuck, they take a part of your stomach away. So you can't eat as much food as you used to when, you know, a regular stomach, right? So whenever she would eat too much, she would either throw up or there would be another leak in her stomach, and then they would have to go to the hospital and like resurge or whatever they, you know, patch it up, repatch it up, whatever the case is and stuff like that. And, you know, then she would be like on straight fluids at a certain moment because like she couldn't digest like solid food because of how messed up her stomach was. This woman was walking around like a chicken. No. She was walking around like a ball sack. Respectfully, if she come across this video. But she was walking around like a ball sack, like just the skin was just rolling off of her. Like, you would think she was wearing a coat, the way that her skin was just flapping off of her arms. Like, it was just ridiculous. Like, you was just better off big, ma'am. I don't condone obesity, but you was better off being big and beautiful than scrinkly, wrinkly, and ugly. Ridiculous. So that's beyond me. But she was in and out of the hospital for like the past, like for the past next 3 years after that. And I guess he was kind of like getting her stuff together, but like she could not eat the amount of food that she wanted to. And at what cost? Like, she has to live like that for the rest of her life. Who would do that to themselves? Like getting tummy tucks and all that type of stuff. Like, why would you do that to yourself? That is ridiculous. So, I don't understand that for the life of me. She had gastro bypass. That's what it's called? Well, if that's what it's called, that's what it's called. But that was ridiculous. Like, hearing about her going in and out of the hospital, and then like we went to a Chinese restaurant back in 2019. We went to Orlando for vacation and stuff like that. Went to Universal and all that good stuff. And like we went to this Chinese restaurant, and like this woman had like half a plate of food. Like half a plate of food. I'm over here getting seconds, thirds, fruits, desserts, all this type of stuff. She over here just little bits of food. I'm just like, damn. I'm still gonna eat though. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, I don't know who would do that to themselves, and at what cost. And like I said, your body is the temple of God. Why in the world would you think in your head? Now, this may be your body, but who resides within that body according to Christian ideology? If God resides within your body, don't you think that God is okay with how your body is? Now, I'm not saying like live how you want to live and just be excessively big or out of shape, because at the end of the day, your body is a place of worship. Your body is the temple of God. Your body is how you maneuver throughout this world. You know, if you are a functioning being who can walk around, who can do the things that, you know, the average person can do, if you're out of shape, that is a disrespect to the temple of God. You know, if you keep putting unhealthy stuff in your body to the point where you start to have diabetes or high cholesterol, that is a disrespect to your body. That is a disrespect to the inner God within you. You know, if your body is the temple of God, and we're surpassing Christian ideology now. If your body holds the source, right? In order for you to be who you are, in order for your soul to function within your body, then you have to go about life in a different manner. You can't go around thinking that you can do anything to your body or live out however you want to live in your body and then claim that you're a god or a goddess or whatever the case is if you keep disrespecting and, you know, abusing your body, basically, and not putting in the right things in your body. I'm not saying like go vegan, okay? I'm not telling you to be a vegetarian, but, you know, detox every now and then. You know, drink some water. Drink at least 5 bottles of water a day. Something like go to sleep. Work out casually. You ain't even gotta be like an intense person who goes and work out. Like, just have an active schedule at least 3 times a week. Something. But I know too many people in my family that don't work out. I'm the only person that I can think of, other than like some other cousins that I might have, but, you know, they're athletes. But I'm the only person that I know that actively works out. You know, it's ridiculous. And some people, you know, you may know family members like that as well. Like, or you may have a family who just don't care about, not to say they don't necessarily care about their health, but they don't work out. You know, my dad ain't never be like, come on, son, let's go to the gym. We go to the park when I was younger. You know what I'm saying? But he ain't never took me to the gym. You know, we ain't never went for a run together or something like that. Like, so it's like things like that. Like, you have to learn to respect the vessel and the temple that you're in. You have to learn how to appreciate and value your body, and loving what you see in the mirror, and loving your features, and loving yourself and your curly hair and your African features. Yes, I said African features. Your African Negroid features. And I know there gonna be some Negroes in the comments. We ain't no goddamn African. All of us ain't come from I ain't got time for that today. Okay. Anyways. You have to be willing to love your blackness. You have to be willing to love your African Negroid features, your 9-ether curly hair. And there are some people out here who don't value their body. They don't value the temple and the vessel that they're in. They're wearing somebody else's hair. Now, at the end of the day, you know, you do what works for you. I'm not telling you to just go out and look any type of way. You know, to a certain extent, you have to have self-respect. But you going out here looking like a Barbie doll. Some of y'all looking like a fool. It just is what it is. Okay. But something that you also need to make known of is that your body is an energy source. Okay. For your body to be a vessel, you have to utilize your body as like a tool, basically. So with your body is made up of 12 powers, essentially, right? Now, people say you have 7 chakras. You have 12 chakras. Now, generally, you do have 7 chakras, right? There are 7 chakras, the root, going all the way up to the crown, right? So, Malkuth, all the way up to Keter, okay? But there are 12 powers within man, all right? If you read from Charles Fillmore created the Metaphysical Bible. And Charles Fillmore also has like a pamphlet or a manual talking about the 12 powers of man. And so there are 12 zodiacs that make up the body. Okay. Now these are the 12 tribes of Israel. For those who may not know, the 12 tribes of Israel never existed. They only exist internally. They exist within the body. But there was never externally a tribe of Judah, a tribe of Manasseh. I can't name them all. A tribe of Benjamin. There were no 12 tribes of Israel. There was no Moses. There was no Abraham. There was no Adam and Eve. These are talking about things that are happening internally within your body. So you learning to master these 12 elements within your body is basically the story of the Avatar. Avatar Aang was an air sign, right? He was an airbender, but he had to master all 4 elements to destroy or to defeat the Fire Nation Lord, the Fire Lord Ozai. He couldn't do that by just being an air sign, by just being an airbender. He couldn't do it with just mastering the air and also mastering fire. He had to master all 4 elements. And some people, they get so caught up in this stupid zodiac horoscope trend that, oh, well, I can't do this because you know how I'm a Scorpio. You know how Scorpios are. You are what? You're a Libra? I don't work well with Libras. You're an Aquarius? Oh, I know how Aquarius are. That's why you act like that. It's stupid. It's really stupid. And anytime that I see like memes, I see videos, anything concerning zodiac signs and stuff, I barf. Because it's not taken seriously. Like, people talk about the natal charts and stuff like that. I don't talk against the natal charts, because you can utilize what you can learn from a natal chart, essentially. But I just vomit internally. Like, I just barf whenever I hear people talk about zodiac signs on social media, because they don't take it seriously. And you can't take it seriously when you hear them. When you hear people talk about like, oh, I can't work with a water sign because I'm a earth sign, and earth signs and water signs don't get along. Like, stupid. Just stupid. Like, it just don't add up. All the signs exist within your body. All 12 zodiac signs. You may be an Aquarius, you may be a Libra, you may be a Scorpio, a Gemini. It's Gemini season right now. You might be an Aries, a Pisces, you might be a Sagittarius, but you're all the elements of the horoscopes. Every last horoscope, every last zodiac sign exists within your body. Every power exists within your body. Don't just master you being Aquarius. Don't just master you being a Libra. Don't just master you being a Gemini or a Scorpio. You're supposed to master all the powers. Learn to master all the 4 elements. Don't just master being a Cancer. Negro, the way you think is Cancer. The way you spread this trend of zodiac stuff is just cancerous. It's toxic. So, also a disclaimer, like, when I talk bad on zodiacs, I'm not talking bad on zodiacs in astronomy or astrology. I'm talking bad on the mundane or the dogmatic movement that's made out of spirituality, because the average person that you may deem to be spiritual on social media ain't spiritual. The average person that you might know to be spiritual and always talking about zodiac signs and stuff like that, they're not who you may think they are. With all the crystals in the world that they may have, it's not who you may think it is. Do I read birth charts? No. I do not read birth charts. I'm not into the horoscope and the zodiac stuff. But I know like I could send you a couple of women that I know. I know a lot of women who do birth charts and stuff like that, the natal charts. But I don't do it. I know the fundamentals of like the zodiac signs and stuff. I may not know all the personalities of the zodiac signs, but I know the fundamentals. Like I know the basics, and it gets me by. I'm not saying I'm not willing to learn more about the zodiac signs, but as long as I know the basics, me being Aquarius, a water bearer, the Gemini, talking about the twins, the Scorpio, the Scorpion sign, Virgo, the woman with wheats, etc., etc. So, but what else? The age of pleasure. Should I deal with the age of pleasure or the body being a prison? We're gonna put it in. We're gonna put it together, okay? Because I have something dealing with the age of pleasure, and I have something dealing with Gnosticism. I come across some spiritual people every now and then, right? Let me put some quotes around that. And sometimes when I come across some spiritual people across social media, they'll tell me about like the Gnostic way of seeing life. And I want people to understand that when you deal with mythology has many different interpretations of the universe. So for you may think the world is a matrix, right? And that somebody high and mighty is controlling your very reality. But that's just one scope of the earth. Who's to say that it's true or not? You can't say. There are many different scopes, many different creative stories, mythologies, many different creation stories that deal with the creation of the world and who runs the world. And when dealing with Gnosticism, sometimes when we get into the spiritual and the metaphysical stuff and we listen to certain people, like maybe a Bobby Hemmett, we may attach ourselves to this ideology of thinking that this world is an illusion, to the point where we think that living in this world means that we are imprisoned in our body. And that's just not how the game works. So you have to understand that when you are living within this world, it's not for you to be imprisoned. So you didn't fall from the heavens and grasp the body. That's not how this works. You didn't fall from whatever realm you came from and now you're trapped in this body and you're trapped in this world and Babylon and all this type of, that's not what's going on here. You was put forth in this world for a purpose. Everybody has a purpose, and it is you who have to figure out what is your purpose. Okay? So you have to do the will of the Father. We're not talking about a God. We're not talking about an entity. The will of the Father is you basically expressing supreme consciousness. All right. And to attain supreme consciousness is to be one of the enlightened ones, or the ones who illuminate. So when you hear people talk about like, my body is a prison, the world is an illusion, and like, I just can't wait for this world to end, the world will never end. Anytime that you hear about the end times and the end of the world, they're just talking about the end of an era, the end of a cycle. Okay? The earth is not leaving. At least not for another millions of years, according to science, right? When we talk about the end of the world, we're just talking about the end of an era. That's what we're talking about. There's nothing new under the sun. So I don't care how many prophecies you might think is coming to pass, how many volcanoes might explode, how many wildfires might be in Canada. The world is not coming to an end. The end of an era, maybe, but not the end of the world. Maybe the end of the world as you may know it to be, but not the end of an era. Okay? That's just not, it's not logical, it's not spiritual, it's not metaphysical. There's always going to be endings and new beginnings. Okay, so there's always going to be, after destruction, there's going to be rebirth. After chaos, there's going to be harmony. And so you have to understand, like, Gnosticism, even though Gnosticism have its, it has its limits, it has its good substance here and there. But when you hear from a Bobby Hemmett, or from somebody who was inspired by the teachings of a Bobby Hemmett about how the world is an illusion and a matrix, and your body is a prison, and we're the fallen gods, that's just one aspect of spirituality. That's just one aspect of how to look at things, out of the millions of ways to look at life. If you was put here and imprisoned here on earth, then you would have no purpose. You see what I'm saying? If you was put here on earth and imprisoned in a body, then your purpose would be to get out of the body, right? Your purpose would be to basically not to off yourself, basically, but like you get into a point of nihilism where basically life has no meaning. And that's not reality. The demiurge doesn't exist unless you make it exist in your world. And there are people living in this world that basically are living in different planes. Not everybody that you come across is living in the same world that you're living in. Your world and your reality is different from somebody else's. You ever seen somebody have a mental breakdown? Their world is coming to an end right before your very eyes, and yet you having a grand old time. And that's just how the world is sometimes. Like, you're going to have some people out here who are going to think like the world is coming to an end for them and Jesus is coming back. I mean, just let you know, Jesus ain't coming back for your black ass. All right. Ain't nobody coming back for you. But you have people out here who think that their very world is coming to an end. So it is what it is. So just know that your body is sacred. Your body is not a prison. Your body is not something to look shamed upon. It's not. This world and this reality is what you make it out to be. You may have had a bad upbringing. The system that we may live under may be corrupt. There might be something bigger that may be to come. There might be some other events that may be to come that will mess with the way of this society. But there is a brighter side to this. It's all based upon what you respond with, how you respond, and how you continue to go about in your personal journey. Don't follow the flock. Don't be conformed to this world. The point of your spiritual journey is to elevate, to illuminate. What is the title? You late, Miss Bianca. Okay. You're late. You're late. You had to come in when I was live in the first. We already dealt with that already. We dealt with the BBLs. But yeah, getting into like your body being sacred, like we are living in the age of pleasure. As Miss Janelle Monáe has said, right? She has basically demonstrated to the world that we are living in the age of pleasure. And this goes far beyond sexual stuff. This goes far beyond you being sexually liberated. This has to do with self-love. This have to do with self-improvement. This has to do with dealing with your shadow work, detaching from the world, letting go of grudges and traumatic experiences, and learning to be your own person. You know, this is talking about pure love. This is talking about being happy and knowing your truth. And knowing your truth and expressing your connection with truth is basically you walking in your spiritual journey. Being spiritual does not mean that you have to have head wraps and crystals around your neck, and you have to meditate a certain type of way and have white robes and tell everybody peace, love, and grand risings. And we don't say good morning because, morning has to do with morning. So you don't want to say morning because morning means bad. So say grand risings, brothers and sisters. If you don't get the fuck out of here with that. Grand risings. I ain't never told nobody grand risings. Great risings. Great risings. Give me a break. If I say good morning, say it back. Good morning. Great morning. Morning. It's like people don't know what homonyms are and homophones and all this other type of stuff. Like people, and I made a lecture about that. I made a board lecture about homonyms. Not too much. I ain't doing enough. Anyways, that get on my nerves. Like, you're gonna tell me what word to use. Those are homophones, right? Yeah, homophones. Homophones when something have the same pronunciation but a different meaning. That's the way that the English language works. And people may, well, the English language have spells, and you should be careful on what words to use because the English language is tricky. No, it's not. No, it's not. The English language is a way for you to communicate. You know how us black people, we use slang. We use slang all the time. What are you talking about being careful with words that we use? We use slang all the time. Man, that was fire. There was a time when we used to use slang and white people would take it seriously. It was on fire? What? Why would it be on fire? Man, that thing was dope. Dope? Are you talking about drugs? Give me a break. We use slang all the time. Ebonics, as some would call it. And you gonna sit here with your Negro self and your spiritual crystals and tarot cards talking about grand risings and let's not use the word morning. And yet you can use nigga in 5 different ways. Nigga. 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 Damn. 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 I just used damn in 5 different vibrations. 5 to 6. I don't know how many times I used it. But words may have meaning, but it's based on your vibration. It's all based on your vibration and the intent that you put behind it. I'm gonna put y'all on game. Watch there's a Netflix show called The Order. Okay. And in the 2nd season, there goes something happens with like one of the people and they lose their magic, right? And long story short, there's a man who says like people think that in order to do magic that you have to, have these basically these nonsensical like incantations, right? You have to say it in Latin and stuff. But he was like, I bet I could use any word as a magic word and levitate anything in this room. It's not based on the words, and you'll see this all throughout social media about don't use these type of words, don't use that type of word, and your words have meaning. Your words have meaning, but it's not because of the word. It's because of your intent. It's like when you tell your friend, boy, you stupid. Boy, you a fool. You're not actually calling him a fool. You just saying he foolish or you just using slang for whatever he's doing. You ever hear women tell men, I hate you. I hate you. Oh my God, I hate you. I can't stand you. So you don't actually hate him. You know what I mean? Anyways, let's get back on topic. Knowing your truth. Knowing your truth. Being happy and content with who you are and not allowing yourself to be conformed or placed in a box by other people. Whatever you may do in this world, just being content, living in your age of pleasure. You may have been through your age of depression. You may have been through your age of regret. You may have been through your age of confusion. Now is the time for you to live in your age of pleasure and live your life, your best life, like it's golden. I'm living my life like it's golden. I'm living my life like it's golden. Anywho, moving on. So don't be diabolic. This is what we're going to hit up on. This is the last thing we're going to hit up on. Don't be diabolic. Okay. I had somebody, and this is what happens typically, when you study like occult knowledge, or when you study into the occult and like the dark paths and stuff like that. Some people, I ain't gonna say all, but there are some spiritual people out there who are a little out there. And some of y'all women, y'all may know what I'm talking about. Maybe you have come across a couple of spiritual men out there who are just outlandish, like just talking out of the side of their neck, and they feel like they can talk to you any type of way because they're spiritual or they know some stuff or whatever the case is, right? And that's just not the case. There are some schizophrenic, I don't know if I can use the word autistic, like there's some schizophrenic, mentally ill people out there. Some, and even for the women, but in this case, men who feel like they can talk to a woman a type of way, they can treat a woman a type of way, they can send a woman anything, just because they are on a spiritual path, or because they're living their truth, or they're on the dark path, right? You sinister, you living on the left path, so you can live however you want, right? And so you may come across this video and be like, well, Tyrone, I thought you said that good and evil is subjective. I thought you said that, it's all based upon how you want to live your life. That's true. But something you need to understand is that good and evil, even though it's subjective, does not take away from the law of correspondence. It doesn't take away from the law of cause and effect. It doesn't take away from the law of gender, the law of mentalism. It doesn't take away from the other hermetic laws. It doesn't take away from whatever you put out may come back to you. Living your best life and living your truth should not be contradictory to the God within. It shouldn't be contradictory to your personal path and your purpose. Maybe it do. Maybe you want to be the villain, but just know that everything comes with a cost. The purpose is not for you to live reckless. The purpose is not for you to do whatever you want and have no rules or morals, or I won't use the word morals, but having boundaries for yourself, right? You are given the platform and you are given the freedom to live out your purpose in the world. That's the purpose of your spiritual journey. Not for you to go berserk and just do whatever, say whatever, however. That's different from, you have women out here who feel like if they are, living their truth is being butt naked and twerking and all this other stuff. There's different archetypes and stuff like that, right? But that's totally different from people out here who just feel like they can just do anything and do however, with thinking that there's no consequence or anything to back that up. So, things of that nature. So please be aware of that. Don't be diabolic. Don't be a creep. Don't be reckless. Have balance. Okay? Know who you are. Love who you are. Have knowledge. Learn more about yourself. Have knowledge of self. Learn to love yourself. In the words of Drake, know yourself. Know yourself. Know your worth. So, I think that's pretty much it. All right, well, that's all that I have for you today. All right. If you want to reach out to me, you know where to find me at the Omnist on Instagram. If you want to support me and also have access to exclusive content and information and digital art, become a Patreon. All right. The link is in the description box below. And if you find me on Instagram, the link is there as well. But it's just patreon.com/Rome Productions with a Z. Okay. So you get all my exclusive content, all like my digital products, my digital artwork and stuff like that. I put out some really good content and information there, and I've been kind of like exclusive with like the real information that I put out, because for the past few months people been getting spooked. For the past few months people been getting spooked about certain things that I talk about, or like some imagery and stuff, and people want to know certain imagery. Some people may genuinely ask me, and I'm willing to give them like a genuine summarization of it. But like, if you really want to know, if you really want to know like the information that I talk about, become a Patreon. All right, it's all there, and that's where we talk. That's where we have the good stuff. So become a Patreon if you want to have the spiritual stuff, the spiritual content and stuff like that. For people, like I said in the beginning, for people who are listening to me on the podcast, make sure that you answer the poll at the very end, all that good stuff. And make sure you like the video if you're on YouTube and stuff like that. And until next time, we out.
The waves brought me a song in the night that spoke in the softening light, words of a lonely one, unknown, caught in the darkening sea, whispering mysteries. Where can that poet be? Remote from my castaway island, he lets his poems drift on the sea. Immersed in the warmth of the current, they touch the deep part of me.